Hi, my name is Jennifer Mitchell Early. I help individuals and teams achieve organizational and personal success, and this is Leadership Matters. I spend a lot of time in my yard, and I try to walk the dog daily, so I'm always consulting my weather app. This particular morning, I knew that the weather was going to be inclement as rain was expected at some point during the early afternoon. Therefore, I made it my business to get out of the house early to get Bailey's walk in before the start of my workday. It was a beautiful morning. It was cool, quiet, and there was little to no traffic. Most of the morning rush had already come and gone. It was great. We did our walk, and I decided to loop around a second time to give Bailey the opportunity to fully explore and take her time sniffing her surroundings. Sniffing is the best part of the walk for you and your dog. It gives you the opportunity to slow down and be present, and the dog the opportunity to expend pent-up energy by investigating their surroundings through smell. That's how they get information like who's been there, what's been dropped on the ground, if there's any delicious crumbs left, if another dog has been there, if that dog is in heat, etc. This is what tires them out, not the physicality of walking. Depending on the energy level of your dog, anywhere from medium to high energy, walks are great and necessary, but like humans, it's the mental work that tires them out more than the physical work. So that's always my goal with Bailey. Anyway, we were enjoying our walk when, oh yes, you guessed it, the sky darkened and the first drops of rain fell. I don't particularly enjoy being caught in the rain, nor does Bailey for that fact. However, I decided to just accept the inevitable. We're going to get caught in the rain. I was a little ways from home still. I didn't have an umbrella, and there was nothing I could do. I was going to get wet. Just deal with it, Jennifer, is what I said to myself. But we did pick up our pace because we endeavored to get home as quickly as possible. We walked at a brisk pace through the shopping center that's across the street from my house. So we weren't terribly far from home, but far enough that this situation was still hella inconvenient. I wanted to cross over from the sidewalk to the parking lot so that we could cross that to get to the main street, which we lived across the plaza from. As I prepared to cross over to the parking lot, a car was coming through the plaza ever so slowly. Keep in mind the rain was falling in full force at that moment and we were getting drenched. Bailey, as anxious to get home as I was, moved a little bit too fast, attempting to cross over to the parking lot. I stopped her, but the car that had been moving 5 miles per hour stopped. I waved to the car that it was okay and they could keep going. And the man driving the car that was completely full of other people sat there and looked at me. I continued to say, "Please, go," and waved my hand, and he slowly, inch by inch, while laughing, allowed his car to crawl forward. In that moment, I was annoyed because clearly it's raining and I'm trying to get across the street for whatever reason. They don't know where I'm going, if I'm going to the parking lot to get into my car or what have you. But the fact that you would deliberately slow down to chuckle just makes one think about the character of the individual driving. Which brings me to the point of today's video. Don't take the bait. We have all been in situations, and toxic situations, where it has pulled on the not so nice version of us, or that has elicited a response from us: anger, frustration, annoyance, irritation, exasperation, etc. Like that time when you were deep in the middle of a sensitive conversation with a significant other, family member, or friend, when the most underhanded, ignorant, mean, and vindictive words fell out of their mouth. Or you're having a professional conversation and the person tries it, smiling while their words drip with disdain and slander. We've all experienced situations similar to these. Every day, we're faced with choices, one of which is, will I take the bait? When you're driving and someone cuts you off, will you take the bait? When someone speaks to you out the side of their mouth, perhaps a customer who's completely out of line, will you take the bait? When someone lies to you or on you, will you take the bait? The next time someone is inconsiderate, will you take the bait? All of these types of situations serve as bait to get you hook, line, and sinker, engaged in a conversation or activity that otherwise serves no purpose for you. It's just an exercise in futility. According to the Anti-Bullying Alliance organization, to bait someone is to intentionally make a person angry by saying or doing things to annoy them. Baiting is a provocative act used to solicit an angry, aggressive, or emotional response from another individual. The major purpose or goal of the baiter is to control your emotional reactions and behavior. If you respond to the bait, you hand over control of the conversation, which is exactly what he or she wants. The bait is used to upset you enough so you'll be off balance and emotionally reactive. There's no rule that says you have to engage with people who bait you. The first step is to determine whether or not the person is trying to bait you. Some people simply lack tact and decorum. Their method of sharing is crude. However, there still may be a modicum of truth in what they're saying. Don't pass up an opportunity to learn and grow. But if you conclude that this person is trying to bait you, recognize that that's their problem. You don't have to engage. Sometimes leaving people to sit in their own words, actions, or behaviors without responding can give them time to think about what they did. Either way, ask yourself if allowing yourself to be pulled in is worth it. There's a big difference between reacting and responding. Remember that reacting is based on emotions. It's usually immediate and rarely in the best interest of anyone involved in the dispute. But responding is thoughtful and deliberate. You can't control other people's emotions, and you shouldn't let them control yours. The most effective way to avoid an altercation is to not take the bait and disengage. Even if you know you're right, is it worth losing your peace? Do you really want to play into their game of baiting you? You can say, I'm not going to participate in this, and walk away. This is a clear communication focusing on your choice and gives others nothing to respond to. Just know that some folks won't let you off the hook that easy. Instead, they cast bigger bait, accusatory or mocking words as you walk away. Let them have the last word, because in the big picture, who cares? It means nothing. If you find yourself wanting to defend, attack, or lash out, you can remind yourself, this is not worth it. It's not worth the energy or the potential resulting consequences. It's not just strangers, colleagues, and customers who'll try to bait you. Family and friends can be guilty of this as well. When emotions run hot, no matter what logical point you want to make, it won't be heard. Pick and choose your discussions. It's not effective trying to convince someone to change their beliefs if they are emotionally tied to what they believe. Instead, agree to disagree. This is not about being passive about your point of view, but rather about strategically choosing when and where it's most effective to express yourself. If you know a family member, ex-spouse, or coworker who likes to instigate arguments, then you already know they'll likely try to bait you. Observe them without reacting and watch how hard they try to get your attention. Don't participate. If you know there's going to be a confrontation with the intention to instigate upset and hate, why give them the attention? If people ignore them and don't engage, then they're left with no audience. In the future, think twice about wasting your time entertaining people's attempts to upset you or provoke you into useless, discouraging, and unproductive fights, arguments, or actions. I was drenched down to my skin But I decided to breathe and laugh the old man's pettiness off. After all, it was still a beautiful morning. I was and am still living my best life, and I could dry off. His actions had no lasting impact on my life. It was a momentary inconvenience that said more about him than it did me. He nor the situation was worth my attention or energy. If you found this video valuable, please like and share with others that may also find it beneficial. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload new content. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.